the idea of Seth Rollins' faction is, and it's really been told very well, and it's not a ripoff of anything. Seth Rollins came out on Raw. He was the locker room leader, and he was getting booed. And he said, hey, I'm still the locker room leader. Who's with me? And everybody walked out on him, except the Authors of Pain. So Seth Rollins is trying to still be that locker room leader that he was before. But these are the only people that are at his side. That's what the Monday Night Messiah is. And I think that story has been told very well. But again, if you just had, hey, it's time for Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, you'd be like, what? Tonight? Oh, all right. Okay. You wouldn't have that excitement, that anticipation, the elements of Raw with stories. But I think you have to go even harder. I think that the Becky Lynch Asuka story, for example, I think that a wonderful, amazing, even better than we've seen video package needs to be told. The root of the story of Becky Lynch and Asuka, I feel like hasn't been driven home. I feel like that match has everything. You tell this story of Becky Lynch, who's this competitor on the rise, and she showed up to the Royal Rumble to try to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. And she lost. She lost to Asuka. She did not beat Asuka. She tapped out at the Royal Rumble. Later on that night, she's not even entered in the match, and she decides to come back, enter the match. Fit Finlay gave her the okay, and she wins. Winning that match took her to WrestleMania, where she was able to pin Ronda Rousey to not only take the Raw Women's Championship, but Charlotte's SmackDown Women's Championship that she had won from Asuka. Asuka was ignored after the Royal Rumble. Asuka was given no credit to the fact that she made the winner of the Royal Rumble tap. After Becky Lynch won both titles, when Becky 2 belts arose, Asuka was given no credit for the fact that she made Becky Lynch tap. In the months and weeks since, every time Becky Lynch has been in a ring with Asuka, she hasn't beaten her. And Asuka has beaten Becky. Multiple tag matches. Becky has never beaten Asuka. Asuka has beaten Becky on other occasions. So now, 1 year later, we get to the Royal Rumble 2020. And Becky Lynch, arguably the biggest star in WWE. Her and Roman Reigns are the two biggest stars. I don't even think that's arguable. But Becky Lynch, maybe the biggest female star in history. Somebody who's beaten everybody. Somebody who's had that Raw Women's Championship since WrestleMania. Now goes one-on-one with the woman that for the last year has been the only woman that she's never been able to beat. And that's Asuka. Meanwhile, Asuka has transformed herself to the point where she's not looking for approval anymore. Asuka was ignored, and she's put herself in a position, along with Kairi Sane, her fellow Kabuki warrior, where she can't be ignored anymore. She's put herself in a position where you can try to ignore her if you want, but I won't be ignored. She's got the green mist. She's a bad guy. She's feared again. Asuka and Kairi Sane have added value to those women's tag team championship that wasn't there. They're the only team that's done that. And now we get to the Royal Rumble. And a year in the making, we finally have the championship rematch between Asuka and Becky Lynch, but the title is on the other waist. You mean to tell me that anybody I told that story to is not going to get interested in this match? If you told that story to anyone, I don't care if they haven't watched wrestling in 10 years, if they're coming to your house for a Royal Rumble party and you explain to them the way I just explained to you what's going on in this match, they're all in. They're here for it. Oh my God, I can't wait to see this thing. Because they all know who Becky Lynch is, but they might not know this story, and they might not know who Asuka is. And the fact that they all know who Becky Lynch is, and they don't know who Asuka is the entire story in a nutshell. That story needs to be driven home. I want to see the chip on Asuka's shoulder. I want to see the venom in her heart for the fact that she did not get what she had due to her. I want to see the fear in Becky Lynch's eyes, because she knows that Asuka's the one person she hasn't beaten and can't and has beaten her. That match has the potential to be the greatest story told at the Rumble this year. But you've got one episode of Monday Night Raw left to make it count. Look, WrestleMania 27, my least favorite WrestleMania of all time. Headline match was John Cena versus The Miz. But you know what the one thing about that match was? I mean, The Miz's WWE Championship reign was not something to shine a spotlight on. He won the title. He defended it against Jerry the King Lawler in a pay-per-view main event. And then he went to WrestleMania. I mean, come on. Then that year's WrestleMania ends with The Rock laying both John Cena and The Miz out. All's well that ends well. It led us where we're going. But in the meantime, that moment, not great. I did not leave that WrestleMania going, oh, that was so awesome. I was like, what? I guess I'm going to bed. But the one thing that put faith in me, and I ended up, maybe I shouldn't have had faith, but the one thing that caused me to have faith in that match was the video package that played before the match for The Miz. The video package that told the story of The Miz, set to P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Bad Boy Family. You can hate me now. And I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. If you haven't seen that video package or you haven't seen it in some time, go back and watch it. You should watch it every 6 months just because. It's my favorite video package WWE has ever produced. And that tells you how good it is. The fact that my favorite video package that WWE has ever produced was the intro to the main event to my least favorite WrestleMania of all time. That's how good this package is. And it goes through the Miz's story. And it goes through him on the real world. It goes through him showing up in WWE, being a cheeseball Ryan Seacrest faux hawk host. You know? Now they try to tell this story of, you know, Miz and Morrison together as if it was this great thing, but it wasn't at first. Wrestling in his dumb shorts with glitter on him, with his fedora, and going through the phases and getting to the place where he was at, walking into WrestleMania 27, where all of a sudden you went, oh my God, The Miz has arrived. Oh my God, the person who's not supposed to be here is here. Oh my God, they said it couldn't be done and he's done it. He may just beat John Cena tonight. Now, it ended up being a disappointment, but the point is the video package. And maybe that's what you utilize to tell this story between Asuka and Becky Lynch. But something, because you've got a story there.